as soon as my live go live, my paper, so I'm having lunch. Ooh, as soon as my thing hit live, my papers just start flying everywhere. So I'm on lunch right now. And I wanted to talk about this whole thing about Beyonce being a witch. So I wanted to talk about that. I actually made a whole video, but in my video, mysteriously got deleted. Of course, we don't want to blame the Beyonce, you know, not the Beyonce, but Beyonce, or, just make up allegations. But the word in the street is our good sis Beyonce is a witch. Are you surprised? I'm actually not surprised because let me tell you, a witch knows a witch knows a witch, right? And just from like symbolism, people are saying Beyonce's a witch, but are we also overlooking the Kardashians? Those are high-ranking Armenian witches, and also Madonna. Madonna is also a very, very high-ranking witch. And did you guys see the Madonna performance where I think it was Nicki Minaj and was it Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera? But she was initiating them basically into the society. But yeah, duh, Beyonce is a witch, and a lot of people in the music industry are also witches and warlocks, and they incorporate like witchcraft and spirituality in their music. Music is a very, very high frequency. So whenever you listen to music, have you noticed how you feel differently whenever you listen to certain kind of music? Like for example, if you're sad, you listen to some kind of music and obviously you start feeling better. And for example, rap music, when you listen to rap music, does it make you feel like angry? Depending on the music, right? It makes you feel angry. It makes you feel like you can take on the world, like you're invincible, right? Because music has a certain frequency that is in it. And also that's why they have like subliminal music where it can make you feel better, or you sleep at night, you listen to subliminals to reprogram your mind. Celebrities put spells in their music so they can make you feel some type of way. And you can start listening to a song now and you're like, I don't really vibe, like I don't really like this song. But the more you listen to it, it start becoming your favorite song. And why do you think one of the reasons why Kim Kardashian, Northwest, and Blue Ivy doesn't really hang out? Let me tell you one thing. Remember the music Lemonade that Beyonce made? One, it was a whole ritual in the entire music video. And also, I think it was really exposing some sort of top secret about what, something related to the Kathy White situation that happened with Beyonce. If you really watch the music, whenever Beyonce opened the door and water flows out, what do you think water represents? Rebirth. And also Beyonce dressing in yellow, she's representing Goddess Oshun. Goddess Oshun, she's the daughter of Oshun. And Oshun's an African goddess, which I know all about. And I wouldn't say I worship her, but I work with her. So, cat's out of the bag. I do work with Oshun, and I also work with Azulifuera. Don't worship them, but I work with them, alongside them, basically. But that's kind of what they do. They don't really worship the deities, but they work with them to get certain things done, to get through certain doors. Why do you think a lot of celebrities, they don't even have talent, but yet they're making hella, they're rich. They're making so much money off of their no talentness. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a word, but you got celebrities out here who are not even talented, but they're out here making mad money, making music. They can barely rap. Cardi B is another one. Cardi B practiced Santeria. There's a picture of her floating, in the internet, of her standing right next to it in Santeria altar. And I'm not saying she directly do any like spiritual work, but I'm pretty sure she has people who actually does it. Dominicans are huge in Santeria. Haitians are huge in Haitian voodoo. and spirituality, Cubans, Colombians, Puerto Ricans, don't come for me. But I do a lot of reading, so I know. And I have friends who are into those things and they're from those countries. So I know. Jennifer Lopez allegedly has a madrina, a godmom in Miami, to be doing the whole sacrifice of chickens and all that stuff for her. And I'm pretty sure that, don't quote me on this, allegedly, Ben Affleck, did you hear when Ben was saying basically that he felt like his relationship with Jennifer Lopez was a nightmare? That, not necessarily a nightmare, but like a dream. He felt like it was lucid dreaming basically the whole time in their relationship, because it felt like he woke up and snapped out of something, and all of a sudden now he cannot stand her anymore. Even the whole relationship. Did you see a clip of Ben when he was, oops, phone fell. Basically, he was walking with Jello to the car, and he got to the car and he slammed the car. So the whole time this man was in the marriage, it looked like he was not happy, but he did it just because. I feel like Jello allegedly might have put a love spell on him, and it's starting to wear off. And now that it's starting to wear off, because what happened is, and I've shared things about like a love spell before, what happened is you can, and I do not recommend this, doing like a love spell on someone. It's almost like taking their free will and you're forcing them to love you basically, right? So the thing didn't work out with J-Lo in 2002 when, the engagement was called off. Engagement was called off with Ben Affleck. We're gonna get back to Beyonce, okay? Let me just set up the premise so you guys know what I'm talking about. So the marriage did not work out with Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. I'm sure Jenny was very, very embarrassed. Funny that we have the same name. I'm sure she was very, very embarrassed. And it was like the men that got away. And, I have a lot of Puerto Rican friends. But I know like Spanish communities. Don't quote me on this, but I do have a lot of Spanish friends. And they speak about this a lot. It's called Avanza de la Raza. That's what it's called. It's called advancing the race, right? So they like to marry into like white. They like to marry into a white family, basically. So when that relationship ended, I felt it was like a slap in the face for him. Even though he ended up getting married to a white woman and have children with the white woman, she still wanted to be with him. And I think Jello allegedly sacrificed a whole lot of chickens to get this man to get back with her again. Granted, we were on lockdown, so a lot of people were like kind of doing things very, very fast, like getting into marriages really quickly. And then after the lockdown ended, people just started snapping out of it, and started, going back to reality. And that's what I'm saying, a lot of COVID relationships didn't last, right? But I also feel like J-Lo, no, he was weak. He was, drinking a whole lot. And she might have had her little madrina in Miami. One of them loves piano for her. And of course, she fell back into a relationship with her again. And she sped quick to get married to this man, right? She got married to him. They eloped in Vegas. And then they had a second wedding on a ranch, in a plantation building, right? That Ben's family owned. And mind you, Ben's family never liked J-Lo. Never, ever, ever liked J-Lo. I don't want to make like a video because she's like taking people's videos down and stuff. So I wanted to make sure like don't talk about it on live, right? But you think they start liking her all of a sudden? No, I don't think so. But she rushed and got married because when you do those things, the love spell can wear off after a while. The whole time in the relationship, he never even looked happy. The second wedding that they did, they went on a honeymoon. He left the honeymoon early or something and just left it there. Who just leave their honeymoon early? Leave their wife, their brand new wife, at the honeymoon early, right? And then throughout the whole marriage, this man just looked so miserable. But what I was going to say about love spell is when you do a love spell, it will work. You will keep that man. But if the man is an abusive man, he's going to always be abusive, but he's going to be in love with you. He's going to be obsessed with you, not just in love, but obsessed with you. but he's still going to be abusive. If he's an alcoholic, he's going to hate the fact that you're bossing him around and try to tell him how to live his life, but he's still going to be around, right? But he's not going to be happy. But he feel like there's a need for him to be around. And now he's saying that it's almost like a nightmare that he woke out of, or a dream that he woke up out of. Well, that's what it's giving to me. And I don't think like this whole relationship is going to, she's not going to give up without a fight. You know what I mean? So she's probably somewhere in Miami, or her daddy is probably somewhere in Miami cooking up some chickens and sacrificing the chicken allegedly to make sure this relationship stay exactly how she wanted. You think she's going to let the other Jennifer Gardner win and embarrass herself again for it to be 2002 all over again? Yeah, I don't think so. She's a powerful witch. She can do this. Jennifer Lopez is not a talented person, but she is this wealthy because I believe a lot of celebrities do have like glamour spells, so people don't see their real them. And I believe that Diddy had a glamour spell over him, where people wouldn't see the true him, you know. But things just started coming out. Too many things just started coming out, and people started the veil started to be lifted, and that is the reason why people are starting to see the true him, right? So now let's go to the Kardashians, the real, not the real, but powerful Armenian witches, right? So I don't know if you guys heard the story about how the Kardashian had a story like their great grandmother did a sacrifice in the woods in Armenia to like some witches called the Witches of Chicago or something like that, and just so happened that their great granddaughter's name is Chicago. They say that, oh, it's because Kanye is from Chicago. Yeah, I don't believe that. They don't care about Kanye enough for them to name her that because he's from Chicago. I doubt that, right? But if you go ahead and Google that story, it will tell you. But I believe that story. It might be like a conspiracy story, but how often does conspiracies, like 9/11, for example, that was a conspiracy at one point. But now, people are starting to believe what the conspiracy theorists people are saying. A lot of times they will just tell you things are conspiracy theory, so people can just say, you know, look the other way, so they don't look at what is really true, you know. So anyways, she sacrificed herself because she was poor, really, really poor. That's the story that they're saying, right? But as someone who knows about like spirituality, I believe some of it. And from how the Kardashians have been moving, I even saw one of their episodes on the very early episodes, I think season 1, where they were literally burning candles and with crystals and stuff in one of their closets when they opened the door to one of their closets. And a lot of people just kind of overlook that. So let's talk about that before I get deep into the story. So it was right around the time where him and Rage's tape was very popular, right? So right before the tape happened, they were shopping for a show. We're talking about the Kardashians now, being Armenian witches. They were shopping for a show. And then there's a doctor, not a doctor, but she's a spiritual doctor. I guess her name is Dr. Linda Silva. So Linda Salvin. So if you watch Storm Monroe's channel, you will know, because she go on there and do interviews all the time. And I've actually used her candles. So she has candles called Wicks of Wisdom, right? So this lady in 1970 something, she got into a helicopter accident or a plane accident, and she survived. But when she woke up from the hospital, she woke up with like supernatural powers, basically. So she's able to make candles, money candles, law candles in your favor, for the law to be in your favor. And we'll get back to that, about how the Kardashians and all celebrities are usually always winning like lawsuits. It's very rare that they lose like they use a case in the, you know, in court. But anyways, you have all those candles which I've used before. I've used the money candles and they really do work. Anyway, so she came up out of the hospital with those powers, so she started making candles. So then she reached out to our good sis, Kris Jenner, and that was when she was still, you know, she had just started dating Caitlyn Jenner, who is now a woman, and she had the Kardashians, and she was saying how like the kids were so badly behaved and they were on set because she hired her to do an infomercial for her works of wisdom, and she had just started the Kardashians and everything. She was, on TV. So Chris, if you can look this up, Chris Jenner works of wisdom infomercial, and then after the show, she said the kids were so badly behaved. Chris kids, right? The Jenner kids. But then Miss Linda, Dr. Linda Salvin, told Chris Jenner that she could take some of the candles home. And from there, I believe she lighted up some of the candles to help propel what was already in the works. And that's the thing about like spiritual candles. When you burn the candles, you actually have to have some sort of system where the money's coming from. So for example, if you're burning candles for like more money, right? It's either you already have a job or you're applying for a job and you're hoping to get the job to bring you the money, or you're hoping to get a raise from your job, or you know someone who owe you some money, or you know someone who can possibly give you some money and you're planning on asking them, so you burn the candle so it can help. The candle basically helps, so the spiritual world will work in your favor to help the thing to happen easier. So you cannot light candles, money candles, and just sit at home on your ass and just hoping that money will come to you, So it works differently. A lot of people have this notion about like spiritual stuff where they don't put in the work and they just assume that it's going to just happen. Well, prayer without work is dead. So it's basically the same thing, right? So you actually have to put forth the work. So because she had the show in the makings, it was season 1, and she was able to take some of the candles home, and I know those candles work. She actually, one of the episodes, it was season 1, they were all talking, and then they opened one of the closets, and I saw the candles were being burned, and there was crystals right around them. So it was like in the open, but not really. So if you know, you could point it out. So for example, if I walk up to a spiritual person, I know that they're spiritual based on like the jewelry that they wear, the demeanor, the aura, stuff like that. So you will know the difference. Remember, guys, you will know the difference. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I peeped that. And then Miss Linda, Dr. Linda Salvin, came years later, like maybe 17 years after the Kardashians were already like popular, and said that Chris did some work for her, and the work that Chris did really didn't do much, But then by this time, their show was already huge, popular, and they're just running rampage in the black community, just rampage through men and everything. So we're gonna go back to their whole grandmother when she did the sacrifice in the woods. So the thing she did was, she, not for herself, but she basically sold her soul for her great grandchildren, only daughters, not men, but the female in the family, to have beauty everlasting and to be wealthy, not the men. Now when you think about that, imagine Rob Kardashian, the first one. He was the lawyer of OJ. He was able to get him off, or not guilty, I guess, and then afterwards he passed away, right? And every other man that those girls date either change gender completely, or become crackheads, or just completely fall from the face of the earth. But before they started dating them, they were very wealthy, and those girls will only go after those men that have, because they know there's something in the spiritual world that's already working for them. So they're going to go. For example, if I already have like some money candle burning, right? Or for example, I have a candle burning to help me find a home, right? Because I know I already have this thing working in my favor, I'm going to go to the best neighborhood and apply for the highest, amount of home, expensive homes, because I know something in the spiritual world is working in my favor. So it's going to work regardless of like my credit and stuff like that. Something, some way, somehow, is gonna happen. So they knew what they were doing. That's why Chris, even when she was younger, she would always like cheat on her ex, allegedly, but they also spoke about it on the show. She would cheat on her exes with someone who is a little bit higher, because she knows already in the works, and she always get those kind of men that she wanted. She would leave her kids at home. They even said in the show that Chloe was the one babysitting all the kids, and Courtney was the one babysitting all the kids. She was leaving them at home and going to like going to like golf tournaments, trying to meet men of like higher level, because she knew she already had something working in her favor already. So regardless of how she did it, it was gonna happen. It was like bound to happen. There was a video of Kim that's going around, and Kim was at her school prom, and she was like, let me sign my name on your book, so when I'm rich and famous, you know, you're going to remember my name. She was young. And yes, they came from a family, they were already somewhat wealthy because he was a lawyer for like celebrities, right? Rob Kardashian the first. He was already a lawyer, so we knew that they already had, right? But they knew that sometime in their lifetime they were going to be wealthy. They been knew this. This is not new. It wasn't like a surprise. Oh, we hit the jackpot, or luck had it, we became wealthy. No, they knew, because they already had something working in the works for them. That's what they say, you know. You hold your hand, you hold your destiny in the palm of your hand, literally. The palm of your hand, you know. So anyways, so that's that with the Kardashians. If you don't know about the whole Kardashian curse, take a look at it. What happened to Rob? What the heck is Rob? Why is all the ladies so famous and popular, and Rob is the only one who's basically taking the fall? Not too long ago, during COVID, I think 2021, 2022, there was a whole thing about, and it was only in the European news, not in America, because they did everything they could to hide it, that he OD'd. But that was the last we heard about Rob. He completely like fall off the face of the earth. You know, he's gotten so fat, lazy, not really doing much, almost like the guys that Kardashians date, you know. You start out good, and then they fall from grace, and then the girls harness all the energy of the men, and then they get better. So just think of those girls like energy vampires, right? They suck up all the male energies. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm here for it, you know. But I feel like with them, they go overboard with it. They suck up all your energy, and then discard you. And then from there on, it's almost like you're at their beck and call, at their mercy. You know, not women, but men. And that comes across them. You're at their mercy, basically, after that. Because they drop you and they're done with you. Unless they get back to you again. That's it. Look at Kanye. Kanye was so popular and famous. Don't get me wrong. Kanye is into all that stuff, too. Right? It's not just... Did you see the performance when Kanye did the Donda performance with Kim, and she was just like a bride? That was a whole ritual in front of everybody, and nobody noticed. And they harnessed the energy of all the people in the crowd to do whatever they need to do. Kanye was okay with the way the Kardashians were until they no longer was messing with him anymore. So don't let that man fool you. He's not that good either. But anyways, so now let's go back to Queen Bee, the witch bee. Yes, Beyonce is a witch. It's not a surprise. I'm surprised people are just now finding this out, or actually now paying attention to it. Excuse me, guys, I'm eating my lunch. Beyonce has a whole plan called the Beehive, right? What do witches do, right? Whenever they're in a coven, how many people can be a coven? 3 or more people. So you need 3 people to actually do like a ritual, right? But you don't actually need 3 people. You could do it by yourself. But you need, this energy is stronger when you have more people, right? 10 people is a coven. 20 people is a coven. But 100 people is called a hive. And what are Beyonce's fan group called? Beehive. She called herself the Queen Bee. And she is the Queen Bee of the Hive. Have you guys seen this show by Childish Gambino on Amazon Prime? It's called... What is it called? It's... If you really pay attention to it, it's basically about Beyonce. And it's about the cult. The cult-like group that people are in when they are part of the Beehive. And everybody's a part of her secret cult. And they don't even realize it. And every time you attend one of Beyonce's concerts, you are literally giving her more energy to perform. And that's why she have the two alter ego, right? So in spirituality, the rule is that you actually have to tell people, or at least show it in plain sight what you're doing, right? So all these celebrities doing stuff, the one cover, the one eye symbol, and all of that, it's in plain sight. If you know, you know. So with me, I can tell like the 444 album, Numerology, Jay-Z is also a part of that. He's married to her, so duh. Jay-Z called himself Hove. Hove represents Jupiter, goddess of wealth and abundance. Jupiter, Thursday. Funny that I'm actually talking about this. Oops. Phone fell again. Oh. Don't come for me, Beyonce and Hove. But anyways, Hove is the god of Jupiter. He represents god of prosperity, money, love. Look it up, guys. But Jay-Z also called himself Hove, Jehovah, right? Don't get me wrong. I do believe that we're all gods and goddesses in our own right, right? Don't come for me. If you believe that, there's somebody, a being outside of you, then that's what you believe. But I also believe that the Bible also says God is within you. Your mental, your mind. You're the creator. So you create just like God created the heaven and the earth, because the spirit is within you. You know what I mean? But again, that's my thought. That's my opinion on that. Anyways, so yes, Kanye, Jay-Z, they all believe they're gods and goddesses. They're celebrities. They all believe that they're stars. What are stars? Extraterrestrial planets, right? Like above us. That's why they look down at us, because they believe they're stars above, and they look down at the people, and that's why they believe they can do whatever they want, right? Because they believe they are the creator. They create. They are gods and goddesses. So like I was saying, Beyonce is the daughter of Oshun. Her sister Solange is the daughter of Mami Wata. So remember the Met Gala where Kim was dressed as like this black deity, which represents dark matter. She was dressed completely black, and that represents dark matter. And Solange was carrying a purse of Florida water. If you're into spirituality, you know what Florida water is, and her purse was the shape of a Florida water bottle. And then that's when I jump into the rabbit hole of Solange practicing spirituality. And not just the spirituality, with the foo-foo stuff. Oh, love and light. No, not that. Not that. Speaking of love and light. So Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. So you know how I said, like, the rule is that they have to tell you, they have to put it at least on plain sight. And if you know, you know. But if you don't know, you just don't know. It kind of goes over your head. You notice how, like, all of the celebrities have the checkerboard flooring in their house. If you are into, like, if you study like the Mason, they have the two pillars, the checkerboard. Well, that represents that balance, above, below, within, without, all of that. And yes, no, black, white, da da da. We need both. You have to have both. You have to have a little bit of dark and a little bit of light to balance it out. That's how the world works. The yin and the yang. Yin and the yang. People only look at that symbol and say, oh, balance. That's what that represents. And everybody who's into spirituality know the difference. Either they see it as Gemini, the two, or balance. Will Smith, he made a movie called Gemini Man. Go and look at that movie and really study and really look within and see what that movie is telling you. But anyways, We're in the year of Aquarius where things are starting to be exposed. Celebrities are starting to be exposed. The things that I used to do in the dark. Jeffrey Epstein Island. So, Sasha Fierce, right? Talk about Sasha Fierce. She have the dual personality because she have to. She use one when she's on stage, and she use the other when she's off stage. So she hold the spirit of Sasha Fierce and to perform. That's what she said. Like whenever if Sasha Fierce is not here, she cannot do the things that she's doing on stage. Well, that's because there's a video of her where she was like, "Oh yeah, when I was coming out, I put my hands up and I felt a spirit coming into me, and that's when I knew it was my time." And then from there on, Sasha Fierce was born. Every celebrity has that alter ego. Have you ever wondered why? Hmm? Yeah. So there's a lot out here, guys. The music you listen to. Pay attention. Rihanna, she's not exempt from this. Nicki Minaj. Roman. Roman is a nasty, nasty man. Boy. Who basically. Roman Polanski, wasn't he like a man who basically took out a lot of people? And she ended up getting this man as her alter ego. Or this boy as her alter ego. Isn't that strange to you? And all of a sudden she ended up dating a man or married to a man who is basically doing unthinkable things to young people. And Polanski is a little boy who is real evil. Who she call upon whenever she has to, do the weird stuff. Rihanna is Bastet and Nefertiti. She has a huge tattoo of Nefertiti under her breast. She works with those. What do you think happens when you get tattoos? You are sacrificing. It's a sacrificial thing that you're doing. And she got that tattoo. And guess what? Because of her influence, so many people now got the same tattoo in the same spot. Getting the tattoo marked on them, they don't even realize what it's for. And she also worships Goddess Bastet, and she's a cat. Actually, I have Bastet at my home right now. She represents beauty. Goddess, do you know that cats actually back in the days in Egypt, cats were worshipped like gods and goddesses? They were the most important animals, at least back in the days. I don't know about right now. But Bastet is very highly respected in that culture. Yeah. So when you look at your faves, just look a little bit deeper. Notice how everybody's always doing the symbol? Because there are certain things that you just cannot talk about. After seeing certain stuff, you just cannot talk about them. But Kanye West, not Kanye West, Cat Williams said, he definitely did say that. This year is the year of truth. And the truth will come out. But just know, not all spiritual stuff is bad. And not all is good. There's the left-hand path and the right-hand path. And that also come in handy with the whole duality thing. Left-hand path, so if you're doing like spiritual work and you work the left-hand path, that's the tough one. So for example, when I was talking about Diddy, I talk about the whole Ezuli Fuera, Ezuli Danto that he got tattooed on his back, which is the Black Madonna, representing Kim Porter. I guess when Kim Porter died, he decided to get the tattoo. He said, "Oh, that's a tattoo of Kim Porter or whatever, right?" But we knew what it was. As soon as I saw it, I knew what it was. As soon as any Haitians saw it, they knew what it was. Can represent the left hand and the right hand path. So Ezuli Fuera is the one, her name literally represents beauty. It says Ezuli Fuera. So Ezuli would be the first thing. Fuera would be Ezuli of the most beautiful. Fue means fresh, beauty in my language, right? So whenever you work with her, people who work with her are usually like very girly, very sensual, seductive. They get any kind of men they want. They have sugar daddies and men who are spending money on them and right? Because that's what she does. She attracts the people to you. Not one particular person. It's not a love spell or anything. but it's almost like a glamour spell over yourself, and people just naturally attract to you, right? But Ezra Dantor is her sister, and she's the opposite of her. So she would be the left-hand path, right? So she would work with her. Sorry again, guys. It's very windy out. We work with her to get justice. And her name literally translates to Ezra Dantor. Ezra of the injustice. The ones who have been done wrong. The guilty one. That's what her name translates to. And you can ask any Haitian, any Dominican, any Puerto Ricans, or you can even look it up yourself. Ezra Dantor. She's the one carrying the little baby, and she has 2 slices in her face. Because her and her sister got into a fight, and her sister cut her in the face. She's an Asian goddess. And then they also have the Ezra Rouge, which is the Ezra of red eyes, and she's dark. She's something, but she's great for whoever works for her. You know what I mean? And then they have the Ezra Canoa, Ezra Dark Heart. Now a lot of Dominicans know about her. She is also something very powerful, very, very powerful. All of them actually, but powerful in their own ways. Anyways, guys, a lot of your celebrities, a lot of your faves secretly have altars in their homes where they worship these people. And then even in the church, I don't come from the Catholic churches, but they practice the most voodoo in the church, black magic in the church than you can ever imagine. You notice when the church, how you'll come to the altar to pray for your sins or leave your heavy heart at the altar. What do you think people who are into spirituality do? They have an altar at their home, because the church is just a building. It doesn't have to be, there's no such thing as a holy building. The church is more scary than a cemetery. I'll tell you that much. But a church is just a building. And you go, you have people in groups praying. That's why it could be so powerful, because when you have 1 or 2 people together praying, it's the most powerful. Just like they say in the Bible, when 1 or 2 people come together in God's name, miracles will happen. Just like if you were to be doing a spiritual work and you have 1 or 2 person or multiple people, it's stronger. It's not necessarily because of the building. But then they'll tell you, come to the altar. Do you think the altar at the church is different from the altar at someone's home? It's not different. It does the same work. The Catholic Church, or just any church. I know a couple of Christian people, or something do them wrong, Christians, somebody do them wrong, they'll say, oh, I'm going to read a psalm behind this person. They know the power of psalms. Just like someone who practices spirituality or voodoo, they will also use a psalm for whatever thing they need to do. It's all about your intentions. It's not necessarily about the psalm or the candle. Because you tell people, oh, I'm lighting a candle, everybody get all scared. Oh, a candle. It's just a candle. A candle, a white candle, is the same as a candle that is lit in the Catholic Church. It's the same as a Victoria's Secret candle or Bed Bath and Body candle. It's the same exact thing. It's just the intention, the prayer that you say to the candle when the flame is lit. And you don't even have to have like a real candle. You can have a fake candle and you're praying. It's all about the intention of what you're putting out. That is the reason why they say, like, the Catholic saints, you have to be very careful, because those saints are real. They're powerful. There are different saints that you can pray to for different things. And a lot of celebrities, they worship saints. They have churches. How many celebrities you know have a church? Kris Jenner and her whole family has a whole church. Church of Jesus Christ or whatever. Something Church of Latter-day Saints. I don't know. But they have a church. That lady Lou Taylor, allegedly, that was, that put Britney Spears under the controversy. Her husband owned a church called Calvary Chapel. And down the street from my house is a Calvary Chapel. It's the same church. It's just they have different branches. But that church started by her husband, Lou Taylor. So yeah. The Bible also says that Satan knows the Bible back and forth. So when you hear Christians reciting the Bible, it's not necessarily mean because they're so Christian, you know. Satan also in the Bible. So you just have to be very, very, very careful, honey. Oh, I just got a new cell. Sprinkle, sprinkle to me. Anyways, guys, I'm about to have my dessert. Not Kathy White. Speaking about Beyonce again, you see the video where her assistant blamed her for killing or taking out her cat and blaming her of extreme black magic? I believe it. Now with the cat, she probably was doing some real strong stuff if she had to go as far as, you know, taking out her cat. But let me tell you, a goddess, I wouldn't say a witch, but a goddess. Because a witch, you know what a witch actually means? A wise woman. They used to burn them at the stake because they felt like they knew too much. Men couldn't tell them because witches knew too much. So they call them witches. So they correlates that with like evil, bad, but it really means wise woman. So, ooh, a new song again. Sprinkle. I think going alive is one of my lucky. It's a lucky thing for me, anyways. Yeah, so look that up. It just means a wise woman. So you do research, you read, and you learn. You learn how to mix different herbs and oils to heal people and do different stuff and gain favors from other people. You know, so I really couldn't. I call them goddesses. But usually we like cats. I mean, not secret, right? We like cats. Cats are like what they call familiars, right? So you'll have a familiar, and you know they'll be around because cats can go between dimensions. That's why they would say witches or wise women or goddesses will use cats because cats are smart and they're independent. Why do you think they correlate cat with women? Because cats have the demeanor of a woman. Not all women, but majority of women don't need all that attention, just like a cat. Leave us alone. Let us do our thing. If we want you to pet us, we'll let you. Well, if we don't, you just leave us alone, kind of thing, right? That's why they have a personality trait of a cat, like a black cat. You know, oh, she's like a black cat. Very this, very that. You know, there's a reason they correlate cats with witches and all that stuff because of that. But don't look at the word witch as a bad thing. It simply means wise woman. So anyways, guys, I'm done right now. And yes, I do believe Beyonce is a witch. So are the Kardashians. So is Madonna. Madonna actually worships the Black Madonna. Allegedly. But yeah, so take that information and do what you want with it. Azealia Banks. She's a daughter of Mami Wata. Didn't she like post a video of her cleaning cat remains in her closet when she was doing all these things? She's like daughter of a mermaid. Look her up. And a lot of other people. Lupita Nyong'o, Oprah Winfrey. Yep. Raven Simone just recently came out with her wife. And her wife said that she actually put her menstrual and Raven's spaghetti to make her fall in love with her, and I believe in that. And when you Now, this is the worst soul tie that you could ever do. I don't recommend people doing love spells or doing anything when it comes to their blood. You could do other stuff with it, but it's not going to interfere with somebody else's free will. Let me tell you why it's bad. Because, for example, right? It could be the worst soul tie ever. And if you believe in reincarnations, right? That person would basically start a new life. Things happen, pass away, whatever, part of life. And you reincarnate into a new person. You'll still come back and still be attached to this person. Because you have that permanent soul tie with that person. And that can turn dangerous quick. Very, very quick. You think a love spell is bad when it goes wrong? A blood binding spell is even worse. And a lot of celebrities actually do that. Kourtney Kardashian, I believe when she ended up dating what's his name? Scott guy. Whatever, her new husband. I believe she put a love spell on. I think all the Kardashians put a love spell in there, man. That's why I destroyed them after they broke up with him. And for some odd reason, they're still always in love with him. Do you see Lamar Odom? He was engaged to Sabrina Powell. Was this not Sabrina Powell, but this one Sabrina lady with the short hair, black lady? And I think she was like training him with something, his personal trainer at one point. He was like shaving her on Instagram Live at one point. He was engaged to her. And then he went on a show, in an interview, and said that Kourtney came back to him right now. Dreams about her and all that stuff. He wants to dream about someone non-stop. That's when they've done actual work on me. Not funny, but it's funny at the same time. So anyways, guys, I keep saying this, but it's my time to go now.